right, so I'm here with my neighbor, Jess Mathur, right? Jess
Yes.
Mathur. Really excited to have you, brother. Learned so much from you, by the way. Like, just observing you. I don't know if you realize that, but the gym. Like, I see you, and I'm like, dude, this guy. Like, when I first saw you the first
Every
time, I'm like,
morning,
who is this guy? And then I saw you with one car, then another car, then another car, then another car, then the Bugatti, and I'm like, what does this guy do? And then I told you, remember, let's go out, let's go do dinner or something. And then it was just
We went to
magical.
Soho
I loved it,
House.
yeah, Soho House. But Jess, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got started in business? I know you're an expert in web, but how did you get started?
So I started my first business when I was 11, 35 now. So when I was 11 is when I first started. It was a website, a wrestling site. So my background is in web, IT. So web development, web design, internet marketing, way back before this stuff even started. You know, this is before Google even came out. It was only Yahoo, search engines like Alta Vista, things like that. When companies didn't even have websites, they were on America Online at the time. So I've been a huge wrestling fan when I was younger. I used to watch it a lot when I was younger, and wrestling kind of got me hooked onto the computers, and then that's when I started building different types of sites where related to wrestling that I'd post news, which I would get off of calling the 1-900 numbers.
Yeah.
Back then, you pay like $7 a minute. You call the 1-900 number, you have all this news, and I would go and publish it online. And what I used to do was go into other bulletin boards, go into chat rooms. It was called Mirc at the time, MIRC. I'd go in there, start posting it, make friends with different people, get them to start posting it around, and start to build a lot of hits. And this is before ad banners even or anything like that existed. After a while, ad agencies came out. A year into it, I was making a good amount of money off my site. I was making tens of thousands of dollars a month by the time I was 15, when I was in high school, and just kept going on from there. Started with one thing, kept evolving into many different things. I've owned many different types of online platforms, from pro wrestling sites to dating to sports betting, casinos, all kinds of stuff.
So you have this rare way of being successful. Like, it's like, were you always, because you were successful at 11, 15, it just, have you always been successful?
No.
Did you ever lose it all?
2 times.
Really?
Yeah, 2 times.
How was that? Because I know you're like a super inspirational person. I know that you were sitting so long at desks, and you gained a lot of weight, and then you lost it. So like, what's the biggest?
What happens, right? So basically, I got started making money with computers.
Yeah.
And I gained a lot of weight, and I used to sit on the computer, sit, eat all the time. And after a while, I wasn't health conscious at all. I didn't care. I didn't even realize that I was gaining weight. I didn't even know the difference between being fit, being fat, being skinny, any of that. I was always money motivated. Like, when I was younger, the only thing on my mind was making money and having cars. So when we were in high school, my friends and I, we used to joke around, go into the libraries. Hey, I want this car. I want this car. By the time I'm this age, I'm going to get this car. I actually did it. Every single car that I put my mind to, I got. And that's just how I am. I mean, it was money over everything else, over my health, not knowing the priorities, not knowing what I need, what would be beneficial for me today versus what would be beneficial for tomorrow or long term. And that's what it was. And at one point, I'm pretty much an extremist. I would say I'm less like that now. I've worked on myself a lot over the last 5-6 years, but I was crazy, like an extremist. Like, if I'm going full pin in one direction, that's all I'm focusing on, 200%. It's me, and that's the target, and no matter what, I'm gonna get the job done. And that's kind of what happened with my weight. My peak, I was over 450 pounds. My waist size was 68 inches. I mean, I had all the money in the world. I could have retired when I was 23. I made my first million when I was 21. Granted, today there's kids that make their first million when they're 12 or 11 or 10. Yeah. But, keep in mind, we didn't have the Instagrams of the world and Snapchat and all of this stuff, you know,
YouTube's.
YouTube or none of that. I mean, when I grew up, shit, we had to put 25 cents in
Yeah.
to make a phone call. So there was no technology. This is when internet started in 96 with dial-up modems, 8 kilobytes a second of transfer speeds, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't have that luxury. We've been, playing with a Game Boy back in the day. So I compromised my health. Then I wanted to lose weight, focused 100% on that. Then I wanted to get into so many different things, like the health and fitness industry, and seeing a lot of people on magazine covers, and the people that I've been a fan of growing up, and wanting to meet with them and wanting to build businesses with them or revolving around some of them and stuff. And my whole motto in the last, I'd say between 2012 and today, has been build a life you don't need a vacation from.
Yeah.
And today what I do is I try to focus on opportunities that are going to benefit me more long term, where I'll have a residual earning from that I can retire in a few years from, but at the same time enjoy what I'm doing in the process. So my day-to-day doesn't really feel like a job. It doesn't feel like every morning I gotta wake up and be like, shit, you know what, I gotta go do this. And no, I'm investing in my passion, and I'm doing something that I put in a lot of work and now at it, but it's going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah. And you're probably worth hundreds of millions or maybe $1 billion. I don't know, like you're a really wealthy person. But going back, did you want to say something?
I'm going to say something. So I'll cut you off on it. So this is the thing, right? True wealth is not based on how much money you have. Mm-hmm. It's based on who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. Okay. The cars, the luxuries, the people on Instagram standing in front of cars, posting pictures, all of that. You know what? It's all a bunch of nonsense, really. Yeah. It's all based on who you are. It's not about what you have in the bank or what you have in your pocket. If you're a good person and you have good intentions and you're looking to do good for people and by people, things are going to gravitate towards you. And you don't have to have $100 million to be able to have access to things that are worth $1 billion. Mm-hmm. You just have to have the right mindset and the right surroundings. Yeah. And that's the most important thing. If you have the right mindset, the right surroundings, and your intentions are pure and clean, nothing can stop you. You're always gonna be blessed, because key is this: be a blessing to others, and the same is gonna come your way.
Right.
In abundance.
Now, Jess, can you talk to me about the first time that you lost everything? You said you lost it twice. How old were you when you lost it the first time?
When I was 16.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, when I was 16.
Like what do you go through when you're 16 and you lost it? You're not even.
I was reckless. I was going from I was 16, 17 at the time. It was basically like I was making a lot of money, and then when you make a lot of money, you think you're invincible. You're young. You get involved in so many different things, and you don't understand like the value of money.
Yes.
Right. So what happens is nothing lasts forever. So what you have to do is, when you're making a good amount and you have to know how to save, how to invest, how to diversify into different things, right? Part of what I've done in the past, look, I've been involved in many industries. Some have been low risk, some have been higher risk, some have been medium risk, and some things I can't even talk about.
Yeah.
It's based off of NDAs and injunctions and stuff that I have in place. But yeah, I mean, you really have to know, if you're making X amount, how much of that are you putting on the side? How much of that are you utilizing to multiply into something else, so that you have a cushion for a rainy day, right? But then again, I was younger. I didn't know the value of money. I was just working hard, and I was making it.
Yeah. And what was the second time that you lost it all again?
The second time I lost it all is when, again, I thought I was invincible. I didn't come in with a blueprint. I lost a lot of weight. I had a good amount of money from my surveillance and electronics and technology business that I was running before, between retail stores and distribution. And I wanted to invest into health, fitness, and nutrition. So I wanted to start a chain of stores across Canada, and basically everything was going to go great. I mean, I was going to partner with a company that was in the business for over a decade. They knew the ins and outs of it, and what I wanted to do was, my mindset is everything I want to do is at a large scale. So I was like, I'd lost a bunch of weight. I was like, I want to create the Louis Vuitton of nutrition stores.
Yeah.
What you guys have here as Vitamin Shop would probably be the closest, but even Vitamin Shop in the environment style doesn't compare to what I created. The problem is that I did it in an area where the population couldn't sustain the type of environment I was creating. It was too luxurious and the products that were being sold in there were the same products you could buy at any other store for the same price. So really, my overheads were too high. My business, the cost to build out the place was quadruple the amount of what it would cost for any other store. And I expanded too fast, and I didn't use bank money. So I put my own money on the line. I wanted to do 3 stores simultaneously, coast to coast. So imagine like having 1 store in New York, 1 in California, and 1 in, let's say, Illinois.
Yeah.
And literally you're doing all 3 at the same time, build out from scratch, leases, 5-10 year term leases, staffing everywhere, and it was brick and mortar. So again, my background is in digital.
Yeah.
I've always made money with computers, doing something online. Here I had a problem. I didn't want to sit down anymore. For me, sitting on a chair was the enemy.
Yeah.
Sitting behind a desk was like the worst thing that could ever happen to me, because I lost a gang of weight and I blamed it on my computers.
Yeah.
I said, this is why I screwed my life up. So I wanted to go brick and mortar instead. The marketing was no longer in print media. It was moving to online. I knew SEO like the back of my hand back then, black hat, white hat, gray hat, you name it. What a purple hat, green hat, I knew the whole thing.
Yeah.
I could rank top 3 on Google in every keyword easily, but I chose to go brick and mortar. And that's where I blew a ton of money of my savings in there. And the business that I had at the time that was allowing me to build this, combined with my savings and stuff, that business took a nosedive. Based off of the industry that it was and some of the key products that were being sold that were allowing everything else to sell. And from there, I couldn't really sustain it. My pride and my ego got in the way. I didn't want anybody to feel like I had to close down my business, because then they would look at me a different way. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm always, in whatever I do, I'm like, shit, I'm known as the top of the top.
Yeah.
What are people going to think of me if my business went down, or if I had to close it or something like that? And I tried everything to save it, but I couldn't, and I buried myself in the process while trying to save it. So December 2012, real story, I had $20 in my pocket. I had a BMW car still, but I had $20 left. I was cash flow done, like zero. And I had to start up from scratch.
Wow. So 2012, you started from scratch.
Started from scratch, but I had a talent. So my talent is I can build web platforms. I'm a programmer. I'm a designer. I know code. I know how to do the graphics. I know art direction. I know internet marketing. So I know I have a lot of talent myself that I possess, that I can sit behind a computer, which I hate doing, and I could build platforms or websites or things that companies need from scratch, and I can get, $10, $20, $50, $100,000. I can make that, in a very short period of time to kind of get back up and rolling.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs that more and more and more. So I'm talking when the word web agencies was still very new. Today, every second person you meet tells you they can build a website.
Yeah.
But it's very different when you're talking about getting a template and putting it on WordPress or on Magento, as opposed to actually developing your own system from scratch. 2 totally different ball games.
What do you think is the biggest flaw in most websites right now? Because they're all very similar, right?
It depends. And it's so broad now, to be honest with you. Like, look, the best e-commerce, I would tell you right now, even me being we build software from scratch and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have a whole team now and a web agency and all and whatnot. But even I wouldn't build an e-commerce engine from scratch, because literally everything today is based off conversions, and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You have companies like Shopify, which is like the number one e-commerce platform out there, that literally spend hundreds of millions of dollars in doing just not only R&D, but keeping up to speed with everything that's there and the new technology that keeps coming out. Like I remember when I first started, there was nothing. It was HTML.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. It was HTML. Then came CGI. Then came Perl. Then came PHP level 1. There was no Java. Java got introduced afterwards, and then JavaScript, and this and that and this. I mean, this is crazy now. I can't even keep up with it anymore. It's ridiculous. So it's not a question of what's missing in today's websites. There's nothing really missing. It's just that there's so many people that are doing the same thing that it's the one industry that I can say that every second person I meet has got ripped off or scammed in some way or the other.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there charging like 20 grand for a website.
Well, yeah, because it's like everybody out there is an expert. Everyone's an expert. Everyone that understands how to use a CMS, content management system, is an expert.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Now, Jazz, did you go to college, or how'd you learn all this information that you know?
No, so self-taught. So basically, like I said, I was a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
So when I got my first computer, the first thing I did was I went and wanted to, go on get AOL, and I went to, at the time it was keyword WWF, I think. Yeah. And they had another one, keyword wrestling. And I just kind of glued onto the computer by watching different wrestling things and downloading the pay-per-views and chatting with the groups in there. So I didn't, when I was glued on the computer, when I saw what was really going on, I got intrigued to learning what the World Wide Web was. And back then, before it became known to public, the government was using it as the information superhighway. That's what it used to be called when it was private. It was called intranet, INTRANAT. Yeah. And then basically, as I got keen into it, I started to learn. I said, hey, you know what? Let me get, there was a program, it was before Microsoft Front Page ever came out. This is before Photoshop. There was a Paint Shop Pro. It was by JASC, JASC, which then got bought by Corel later on. And there was that, and there was a website builder. I forgot the name. And then I bought this book, Website HTML for Dummies or something, 101. It was this yellow and black book. And I started to just read it a little and learn it. And I went online. I saw that there was a company called Angel Fire and a company called GeoCities. And they were offering people free pages. Yeah. And they had a little editor. It's called a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. Mm-hmm. So you go there, you put your background, your text, you upload a picture, and that's what I did. I started off with that. And as soon as the ads thing kicked in, I mean, to be honest with you, I dropped out after high school. I was making so much money that in the school one day, in my high school, the principal, they had they had the cops come in and do a raid in my locker because they thought I was a drug dealer. It was crazy. My whole life, people have been thinking I'm a drug dealer. But yeah, it was hilarious. I laugh at it all the time.
Yeah. When you were in so is it true that you dropped out at the 10th grade or something like that? Yeah. You were at 10th grade dropout? Yeah,
I had limos pick me up 2 years straight from school. They banned limousines from the compound of the school. I was at the time, the exchange rate between U.S. and Canadian dollars was like about 70%, 65 to 70%. So I was making 30,000, 35,000 U.S. a month. That was like 60, 70K. It was more than double.
And you were in high school?
I was in high school. I was making what my principal made in a year. I was making it a month.
Were you getting like all the hottest girls in the school and all that?
I was never short, so I'll be honest with you. So I was always I was overweight when I was in high school too. I bought my friends. So because I had money, everybody was always around me. So I never had a shortage of having people around me. Yeah. It was always for the wrong reasons though. It was always because I had something to offer. Yeah. So I was always either, taking them out, buying this, buying that, And that's been, that's been part of my inner thing. That's why there was points when I lost everything, I had no money. The reason why I was more scared was not just what people think of me, was that, hey, how will I have anybody to talk to? Because my whole thing was, I have money, I can buy you things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what people saw me as, whereas that's not real. That's not having real friends.
Yeah.
So I had to work on myself through the process.
Were you insecure at that time, or have you ever been insecure?
Always, my whole life. I still actually deal with it till now.
Really?
That's something that people don't see and understand. They think that, oh, you know what, he has this, he has that. It's no, like, everybody has some sort of challenges in their life. Everybody faces insecurities. Everybody, they face things that are, like, that they're not the best with.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, if I, just like you're a friend of mine, if I agree to do this, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm not trying to act like somebody I'm not in any way. The thing is, even though I changed the way I look today, I still sometimes feel like I'm that same old person, because it doesn't change. Like, inside, you're still who you really are, So yes, insecurities. I've always faced insecurities my whole life. When it comes to business, I never had insecurities, ever. That I have, like, you give me a business deal, I will literally, like, run through it like there's no tomorrow. But when it came to me personally, or personal life situations, relationships, girls, things like that, I've always been insecure. Like, I'll go a certain way, and then I'll, like, get shy, and then, like, I'll steer a different direction.
Yeah.
It just, yeah. That's been something I've been slowly like fighting. It's like I'm doing an uphill battle against myself.
Yeah, that's interesting, because now you look like a model, and you're fit, working out all the time, hanging out with Mayweather, and the car that you drive. You're always around sexy girls.
But you know what's funny? The cars. It's it's cool. Look, I remember when I got my first Ferrari. Right. Yeah. It was 5 years ago. And basically, I had it. I was like, it was so exciting for the first 3 days, and then guess what? I was like, still a Ferrari.
Yeah,
it's a car. Cars always gonna be a car. The thing about cars is I attach the cars to goals, because I have a passion with cars. So cars kind of it's like my outlet.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, like, they have their vice. Like, some people will fucking go do coke, or some people will go do this or go do that. Just keeping it real. For me, it's a car. It's like, I'll be like, okay, I have, this is my start, this is my end, this is my goal. If I achieve it, bam, I'm gonna get myself this car. And that's what I do.
Yeah. When you got the Bugatti, was it any different than the Ferrari?
It's different on terms of a status level and a level of respect. But for me, it's more like, as a car itself, it's not a car you drive every day. It's more of a accomplishment for myself. It's like, hey, like, this is above and beyond. Like, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. It's like, hey, I want to do this, and I want to get that at the same time. That's like, all right, you can get that too.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But it didn't get old after 3 days, right? Like the Ferrari story.
Nothing really gets old. It's like, when I say gets old, it's more like, you realize, like, a car is not everything.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not the end all be all to life. Like you might have your excitement for a few days or a few years. Eventually, as you grow older, you tend to realize, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you find your purpose, because I was lost for a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted. After I lost a lot of weight, I really didn't know what I wanted to go towards. What was the next step? What do I want? Like, I really had no idea. I guess what that did for me was, it allowed me to see that, okay, you can have all these cars and still you're not satisfied.
Yeah.
Because what do we really all work for? Everybody is this one common denominator between every single person. Let me ask you a question. What do you think that is? There's one thing. If you can say one word, that's a common denominator between every person on the face of the planet. What we're looking for, what is it?
We want to be happy.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Right? It's the feeling of it.
Yeah.
The feeling of satisfaction. So it's going to give you so much of it for a short period of time. And then you're still not going to feel that complete. So it's like, once you identify your purpose, and you got to really, really, really channel in deep with yourself and, like, find it, that's when your whole demeanor, your way of being, your day-to-day stuff, what you do, everything changes. And that's kind of what I did. When I found what my purpose is, I found what I wanted to do, I found what I like doing. To be honest with you, like, I get happier when I'm able to motivate and inspire people and people tell me, hey, you know what, like, I just lost like 3 pounds because of you, or my life changed, or I'm in a better place mentally right now because you helped me. Just by watching your Instagram, like something that I thought was a joke, and it turned into something crazy.
Can you talk a little bit about that, the Floyd Mayweather, the fitness thing that you did? Because I see like crazy stories on your on your Instagram about people that I lost 5 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, and they're...
So obviously, from, you're talking about the most respected, most decorated number one, sports icon out there. I mean, the one thing is to be an athlete of that caliber, I mean, or even at any level, you have to have discipline. And you have to have a lot of mental strength. You have to be able to not let emotions and things get in your way. I mean, there's a lot of factors that people don't see that go on behind the scenes. And the challenge is basically for me to get to overcome that one last hurdle, and then at the same time, get myself in that physical condition that I want to be in, have that, like, I'm not going to say shredded like to the complete core, but I'm like a proper fit figure, and at the same time help others get on that same movement, help people realize that their number one priority in life should be themselves and not anybody else. So how do you do that? It's like you tell a person, look, if you can't focus on yourself and your physical, your well-being, then really you can't expect anybody else to give you, any attention, right? That's what it comes out to.
One of the things that I mostly respect and love about you is when we went out to eat Soho House last time, I asked you like, hey, how are you? Do you watch what you eat? Are you really strict on this? And you told me, no. Like I do everything that, like, talking about satisfaction. So you eat what you want to eat. You don't limit yourself on what you can eat. You work out every morning. There's no morning that I don't see you working out. And you kind of just have it all and do it all. You don't limit yourself on anything that you want to do, right?
Right. So have I done a crash diet before? Yes, I have. When I first started losing weight, I lost 88 pounds in the first 3 months. And that was because I was having, boiled chicken, steamed broccoli, staying away from all carbs, sugars, carbs only twice a week, oatmeal. But I don't recommend that to anybody, because the amount of energy that took and the amount of energy it drained out of me, that it affected my business at the same time and operating things. And I had mood swings with my family and with my clients and stuff. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. That's a complete... Yes, it worked. It did a lot. I didn't put the weight back on. I was able to balance it, but I lost something in the process. And that was I put a dent in my business, in my flow, in my day-to-day. So what I do now, after a while, I say, you know what? I'm not taking these shortcuts anymore. I'm not trying to rush at it or do something really, really quick. I want to go slow and steady, because it's not a race, it's a marathon, right? Slow and steady will always win. And that's why now I eat everything, but I understand portion control. So I'm not going to go crazy. People drool over my Instagram stories all the time. They see me posting food. I mean, I'm not eating all that food all by myself. Sometimes I'll snatch someone else's plate and put it on there just for the fun of it. But no, it's about portion control and about burning more than what you're consuming. Now, keep in mind, I've been training for 10 years. So training for 10 years, my metabolism is like through the roof. I train so much every day. Like what you see in the morning is only like this much of how much I actually train. I can't, like, I go to another gym after when I train. And that's where I'm burning a lot more. So yes, I eat because I burn it off. Now, if I was the old me eating the way I am now and just sitting down and working at a desk, it wouldn't work. Because, my metabolism would be very slow. I'd be consuming and I'd just be storing the fat.
Jess, going back a little bit to end the whole car conversation. I know a car, you have a car story that changed your life, right? You got a car and then there was like a problem getting in the car or something.
So that's how my whole weight loss thing started. So there was, It was a combination of things. Car was one of them. So I bought a Porsche 911 Turbo. I had it shipped to me from one city to another.
That was your dream car back then?
No, it's really funny. So you're gonna see that this is how impulsive I am. I actually had a BMW 6 Series, and I was thinking of buying wheels for it. So I was like asking my best friend. I was like, "Hey, should I get these Asante wheels?" And he's like, "Shit,
I remember
yeah."
those.
He's like, "Get them." He's like, "Get them." I said, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "I'm gonna get them," and then I'm like, "All right." And at the same time, as I was gonna get the wheels, I saw this Porsche, and I'm like, "I want to buy this car too." So I ended up going to buy wheels, but then one of my friends had a crazy deal available on a Porsche 911 Turbo that had like, I think it had like 300 miles on it, next to nothing. It was like pretty much brand new. So I bought that car too because I got like 40,000 off sticker.
Yeah.
And when I received the car, I couldn't fit in the car. I was like, there was no way. It took me like 4 months to be able to actually sit in the car. It was crazy.
I think I
It was
read
a
somewhere
shit
that you
show.
said you were bigger than the car.
I was bigger than the car. Yeah, I was bigger than the car. Like literally was bigger than the car.
Was that like one of those moments where like when you just, it was a moment that changed your life?
That and Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook came out, and when Facebook came out, people were kind of all reconnecting with each other and stuff like that. And I didn't want to reconnect with anybody from my school because I didn't want anybody to see what I looked like. Because in my
Yeah.
school, I was already big, but I mean, at this point, I had, I was another level of big. It was
Yeah.
it was like comparing a balloon to a hot air balloon.
Yeah. No, just for a lot of people that might be watching this
Yeah.
and that think that, because I know you're like one of the most connected people I know. You hang out with all these celebrities and athletes, and people think that their lives are easy and they don't have any problems. How true is that with all the people that you know, and including yourself? Like, do you go through days that you're like, man, I don't know why is it? You know what I mean, right?
Everybody faces challenges in their life, no matter how big or small. Look, we're all born the same. We're all going to die the same. Simple as that.
Yeah.
The level of commitment and discipline and focus you put towards a certain thing is the output and the result you're going to get out of it. The thing is, the higher you go, the certain things, people, after a while, you have to really question who's real in your surrounding and who isn't. So you really, what happens is with a lot of influential people and stuff, they tend to keep a very small circle. They don't want anybody else new to come in, just because, nobody wants people just trying to suck energy out of them, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about like reciprocation, give and take. Anything in life has to be a two-way street. With your question based on this, everybody face issues. We all do. Everybody does. Some people are more public about it. Some people are private about it. Like you asked me the question of insecurities. I told you straight. Shit, I still deal with them till today. Not a lot of people would have the courage to say that. A lot of, they'll put a curtain, hide behind it, try to deflect from it, act like, oh yeah, hey, I'm the man, I'm this. Like, look, everybody faces challenges. But once you can, the key is this: if you can identify your challenges and you can identify your strengths, weaknesses, and everything, and you could put them out down on a piece of paper, and you can slowly work towards them, that's how you can master yourself.
Yeah.
And unless you admit to yourself that you're wrong here, you're right here, you're wrong here, there's no way you're ever going to be able to master yourself, because you're going to live in denial.
Yeah.
You're going to think that you have it all figured out, but you really don't.
And I know you don't believe in limits, right? That's why you're limitless.
Exactly. I don't believe in limits. There's no such thing as limits.
Can you talk a little bit about your daily schedule? Like
I have no schedule.
No schedule?
I have no schedule.
Like how many hours do you work, your work ethic, etc.?
I don't have a fixed number of hours I work. This whole myth of you have to work 20 hours a day is a bunch of bullshit. Because to be honest with you, without strategy, without planning, without literally having a clear head, without being able to take time off and just enjoy like the fresh air and meditate and do absolutely nothing, there is no way you're going to be able to create a multinational brand.
Yeah.
or something that you've been dreaming of, or build an empire or something of that sort. Like, there's a reason why a lot of people say meditation is key, because that's where you're at peace. That's where you can, you could tap into your inner self, and you can figure out, and you get more ideas and creative. Because when it's busy, your brain doesn't have time to rest.
Yeah.
So you always, like, you're moving at a very high pace, and you're not going to think. And there's going to be a point you might hit 3, 4, 5, 6 darts straight, but after a while, something somewhere is just not going to click, and you'll make one wrong move and everything's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So there is no, when I was younger, yes, it was all about sit and work. And even sometimes now when I'm building something, but I know what I'm building. So if it's a project, for instance, let's say a platform, and I know that, hey, this is my coding map. This is what we have to build. This is how much time that we have to do it. Okay, I'll sit there and we'll attack at it and we'll build. But we know what we're building. We know exactly what we got to do. It's nothing more, nothing less. Just like a house, right? You can't build the house bigger than the land. The land is there. So your house is only going to be like exactly what you have on the map. It's not going to be anything more than that. So when you're doing that, it's okay. You're going to get the job done. It's done. You want to go rest and relax, clear your mind. But if you're trying to work like crazy with the mindset of, I want to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
I have no clue what direction I'm going in. I'm just going to sit and work. It doesn't happen that way. Because my whole journey started off like, this was my goal. I was like, hey, I have a goal. I want to start here. This is the finish line. I knew it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
I knew there's a lot of stuff I'm going to change. My business model 8 years ago is completely different than what it is today. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to stop until I reach the goal.
Yeah.
But there are points where you have to slow down. There are points where you have a hard stop. There are points where your car may spin out of control, and you just got to hang tight. You got to enjoy the ride.
When are those times when you kind of like slow down, and how often do you have those times where you just think and you're like, where you slow down and think about what you're going to do? Like instead, like for say, like not working 20 hours a day, but when is that? Because I find myself stuck, like always staying so busy that sometimes
I take every single day,
yeah,
at least 90 minutes of my day combined between morning, afternoon, and evening. Minimum 90 minutes, and it can go all the way up to 2.5 hours, goes straight into just thinking. Like, I literally shut off from the world. I don't talk to anybody. I have to be alone, and I'm just reflecting. So I will think about the past few hours. I'll think about the next few hours, what I have to do, where I'm at, what I'm doing. Does it make sense? Does it not? And I double check, triple check every move before I execute. But the thing is, when I execute, I go quick. I don't stop.
And these 30 minutes, hour and a half, are you have your phone off and you're not reading, or
I don't keep my phone off ever. I just put it on. I have like the do not disturb mode.
Yeah.
Just slap it on do not disturb mode.
But are you like reading a book, taking notes, or is it just you one-on-one by yourself?
Me just by myself.
And talking about that, do you do any self-improvement? I know you walked in with a book. Do you read a lot?
To be honest with you, a friend of mine just gave me this book, okay? I have never in my life till today, even my dad has written a few books, okay, till now. He's selling on Amazon and whatnot. I have never even read his book. I have never read an entire book in my life. I can't, because I have ADHD. So when I start reading, I get like, I can't do it. I promised my friend I would read it. It'll take a long time, slowly, a few pages at a time. But I can't sit there and read an entire book. Like I get, my mind wanders away.
Yeah.
In 10 different directions.
Because obviously you've done a lot of self-improvement because you learn information. But what has been your method of learning all that information?
Trial and error. Believing in myself. I bet on myself. That's the only thing. I will gamble on myself all day.
Where do you get all your research? Do you research at all, or?
I do. Online.
Online?
Online,
Everything's
like
found online, right?
Everything is, So I'll read things. I read little sometimes people's stories and stuff like that, and like I'll look and see like different quotes, and when I see quotes, I'll understand meanings behind them, and I just, sometimes if I see someone's success story and I get interested, I start diving into it a little bit more. So I get inspired by just general things and what you see, and you can learn from anybody.
Do you feel like you have like superpowers or something like that?
No, nobody has any superpowers. I just feel like I've I've tapped into a certain part within me that I've
Yeah.
kind of like, I, I, I believe I can achieve anything that I want. And I believe anybody else can achieve anything that they set their mind to. I believe that nothing is impossible. I think that if, it's just about being in the right state of mindset. I'm very disciplined. So like you can see me one night, I'll be partying, I'll be going crazy. Then the next morning I'll be like, I will, 90 days, I'm not touching this, I'm not touching that. I'll be a completely different person. Like I can switch overnight
Yeah.
based off of goals.
Yeah. And you're one of like, let's talk about recreating yourself.
Yeah.
Do you, like how, because you recreated yourself pretty quick, right? Or how long did it take? Because for some people right now that might be struggling, like what's your powerful message to them as to how they could become a jazz?
How anybody, so my company slogan is reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
For the whole brand I'm doing, it's reinvent yourself. And reinvent yourself is very, very broad. It's like you versus you, reinvent yourself. It's like pretty much what I would tell people is that if who you are today, if you're not happy with who you are today, first of all, you got to think about why are you not happy with who you are today? What is it? Because most of the times, it'll be because people want what other people have. Because they're not happy with what they have. They think the grass is greener on the other side. Or, hey, I just bought myself a brand new Mercedes, yet I go on Instagram, somebody has this guy just bought a Ferrari, now I want the Ferrari. Mm-hmm. It's like, be happy with what you have, because not everything that you see on the other side is really what it is. You don't know what that comes with, because you might have a Mercedes brand new, and you have a beautiful life, you have a family, you have kids, you have everything. The other guy on the Ferrari is dealing with 101 headaches. He might have a Ferrari, but he doesn't have the other part that's like a happiness in his life, and he's dealing with 101 different headaches.
Yeah.
Right? So it's you gotta look at it. So reinventing yourself should be based on internal, not external, not objects, not material, but who you are as a person and how you feel you can be better and project better to others.
Yeah. Does Jazz see himself having a family soon, or have you ever thought about kids or anything like that?
I don't. You know what it is with me? I don't look into stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very like, I don't plan things. There's certain things in life I don't plan.
Yeah.
These are things that you just can't plan. You can't. I'm not like this guy that's like, well, by this age, this has to happen. By this date, that has to happen. I do that with business. I'm very goal oriented when it comes to business, but my personal life, I don't sit there and plan things. Am I open to anything? Yes, but I'm not sitting here creating a plan.
Yeah.
On it.
And what are your goals for the next? Do you have anything planned for 2020 that you want to hit, or do you just go based on?
What I want to hit in this year, outside of just bettering myself and learning new things each and every day, which I think is going to be endless. It's just going to be limitless.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
You can learn when you're 70 years old. But really what my focus for this year is to be able to inspire and change as many lives as possible by way of communication and by way of people, relating to me, such as with stuff like what we're doing over here and whatnot, and being inspired in a way where it's like, hey, if I could do it and I'm a normal person, then you could do it too. And that's really what it is. My purpose is.
Yeah. And Jez, how close are you with your family? Have you ever
Very
had
close.
Yeah. Have you ever had because you mentioned keeping your circle small?
Yes.
Have you ever had to get rid of certain family members, close friends?
Not really. No, I mean, oh yeah, people in my circle. Oh hell yeah, I boot people out all the time. Like I don't give people a second chance. You screw me over once, you're done. You're out. Like it's. But at this stage where I am now, like I have like I don't even know what to call it. It's like Fort Knox around me. So I have a very strong team of people around me that literally filter anybody that tries to come in and out.
Yeah.
I'm talking about between close personal friends to legal, a strong legal team, and so on and so forth, like all angles. that vet every single situation or every single person that tries to come around, because
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not looking for, I'm not looking for just anybody just to, just to come hang out for no reason.
Yeah. And building your business, becoming the person that you are today, you had to get a bunch of, that you were talking about legal, you have to build a strong team, right? And
Yeah, you need a team.
You need protection from everywhere. Do you have people that are smarter than you in different departments? Things
In
like
every department. In every department. You know what's funny? In a few departments, I brought in people to work with me that actually managed to outsmart me a few times. Because I'm like, shit, if you can outsmart me and you can outsell me in certain things, and I need you working with me.
Yeah.
But yes, it's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about having people that are equal or higher.
Yeah.
And that can collaborate, that can communicate, that can share their perspective on your ideas. Because I come up with the craziest ideas at times. And to be honest with you, in my head, the idea makes the most sense, but really, it makes no sense. Like, I have, a crazy dream, and then by the time I relay it to everybody, they're like, okay, well, my dream just gets, yeah, it's cool, but this part, we need to attach this to it, and at what pace it can go,
Yeah.
So yes.
When's like the time that you come up with the craziest ideas? Is it when you're working out? Because when I work out, for example,
Yes.
my blood's flowing.
I'm in a totally different. So here's the thing: when you see me in the gym, if I'm doing cardio, like, I'm physically on the machine.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Every time I'm mentally somewhere else. I'm very like I'll be sitting down, I'll be listening to you, you're talking, and I'll be paying attention to you. But at the same time, there's something else wandering off in my head that I'm like thinking, hey, in 3 hours from now, I got to do this, and attach it together. But I'm still paying attention to you.
Yeah.
So that's where, because what it does is releases serotonin, right? So when you're working out.
Yeah.
So you get like in this mode, and then that's when I just start getting all these ideas, and I'm like, okay, well, this can connect here like this, and I'm creating like this whole puzzle in my head.
Yeah, I think that's what, like, when I met you the first time, when I saw you at the gym, like, I almost felt you were a little weird, because it seemed like you were doing a lot of things in your, like, I could tell that you're thinking about like 100 things in your head, and I've never seen you not doing anything. Like, even when you're doing your sit-ups, I see you with your phone, and you're like texting and doing sit-ups, and you're like and then you have like two phones, I think, right? You have another phone, and I've seen you a couple times with both phones.
Yeah.
And then you're like always, you're on the conversation, you're texting, texting. Like, you stay, when you're awake or focused, you're like super busy all the time, right?
Yeah. Especially in the mornings.
Yeah.
Especially in the mornings. I mean, I have clients all around the world. So, I work a lot. Look, I have my team, my web development team. I've had an office in Ukraine for the last 10 years now. So I have a whole team over there with, of programmers. So I have to work off that time zone as well. I have a lot of clients based out of Europe. So I'm an early morning guy. By the time 2 o'clock hits, my day is pretty much done. But yes, I'm always doing, like, I can do sit-ups and text and train and talk on the phone and everything at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always doing something. Yeah, that's the problem that everybody has around me. They're like, I never put my phone away.
Yeah. I did notice, though, like,
But at the same time, I can tell you, I'm able to have my phone on me, put it on Do Not Disturb, make sure that, and certain people that don't want to answer to, literally, I will not respond, and I'll still be on Instagram, and I'll answer the people I want to, but the ones that I've kind of compartmentalized, I don't answer till I'm ready to answer. So I have like these, it's really crazy. So I have 3 compartments, A, B, and C, in my head. And I place people in there. But nobody knows what compartment that they're in. Nobody has a clue. So based on what compartment they're in, I give them their level of importance. And their level of importance is based on how much, like, how important it is for me to answer them immediately. Or are they bringing just anxiety or stress into my life because of their own headaches? Or are they just bringing some sort of positivity? You know what I mean? And that's what I do, because I'll answer everybody, but when the time is right. When it's a 911 emergency, even the person that's in compartment C comes above compartment A. But you have to learn to compartmentalize people, because you'll never be able to put yourself first otherwise, or make yourself a priority.
Yeah. Do you feel like you live a lot in the future?
beyond the future.
Yeah, you're like always
Yeah.
you think about because
I mean, in my head, I'm already at the finish line. I'm waiting for everybody to catch up. I know where, like, I've already like what I have today, everything I have, this life this relationships I've created with certain influential people around me, or some of the brands, the businesses, the things where I'm going, I've kind of manifested.
yeah.
I'm very, very strong in manifesting. I am strong in, I'm very intuitive. So if I feel something a certain way, my gut feeling tells me something, there's a super high chance, 90% plus, that I'm right on it, or at least right around the corner on it. So really, like, I know where, I know the only thing stopping me from getting to the end goal of this whole thing with Limitless and where I want to take it to is me getting out of my own way. And that's what happens. Sometimes I'm very confident, and then sometimes what happens is I get these doubts, and the doubts don't come through me. They come through other people's problems in their day that I get distracted by. Then I'm trying to help them fix their problems, and then it delays me in my own goal. So really, if you ask the question, do I live in the future? Day to day, I'm living in the present and what I'm doing. But when it comes to my business and what I'm looking to achieve and the roadmap that I've created, I'm already at the finish line.
Yeah, I was saying that because most people, they focus too much on the past, and they're like, "Oh, this happened to me, that happened to
I'm
me."
done. Like, I don't think about things twice.
Yeah.
Like, if something is gone in the past, it's gone. I don't dwell on the past. I don't think of the past. I don't hold regrets on people. I'm not, if I don't have hard feelings. I don't I don't. Another thing is, like, it's very rare that I'll end something on bad terms with somebody, but if it ever happens, like, it's probably 2-3 times in my life at the very most. Like, I tell people, don't burn bridges, but if you really have to, blow it up. Blow it up to a point where the bridge does not exist no more.
Well, can you explain that a little bit?
So it's like, because if you feel some people are going to be toxic or anything in some way, you have to literally, like, cut the string completely, where there is no way that it's gonna reattach again. Like, like that's just what it is. It's just a saying. It's like, don't burn the bridge, blow it up.
Yeah.
You never, I don't dwell on the past.
Now, Jess,
you can learn from anything, any experience.
Yeah, because Jess, you're 35. You're really young, and for everything that you've accomplished, do you have any? I heard you talk about retiring. I don't know what you meant by that, but do you have any plans, like, in the near future, of retiring, selling a company or something like that?
Yeah, so I have what I'm doing with Limitless is,
because I heard you one time with this. You had a story, and you were with a friend, and you were saying, like, this company's gonna do, like, you mentioned, like, some big numbers. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Which one?
You were in front of the building. You were in front of the building. You were with Ray J. And then you were saying, like, some big numbers, like multi-billion numbers, that it's gonna go up. And
I don't remember which thing it was.
you were talking about a big number. It seemed like a company that you're building, that it's gonna be, or a concept that's gonna be worth
billions,
so much more. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, because there's the way I'm creating what Limitless is it's not a supplement brand or a product. I mean, it's something that has so many different revenue streams that are going to be attached to it, that I'm basically positioning it to be an incubator, accelerator, and venture capital. So that's where I'm looking to take it over the next 24 months, right? So I'm tying in what I love as a driver to do something that ultimately I know is going to make financial sense, because the bottom line has to make sense, right? If you're investing in your dream and there's no ROI that's going to be there, then you're going to crash and burn eventually. So
and
but the thing is, you have to believe in yourself first, and your idea has to make sense, your concept has to make sense, and you have to have something tangible, and you have to have something intangible, because obviously when it comes to brand has an intangible value. Product is tangible, that's in there, and that's how things are built, and there has to be a lot of grassroots legwork.
Yeah. Hey, brother. So before we end this, I want to ask you one last question. On do you believe that, because there's two ways of opening a business or turning this business into multi-millions or billions. Some people partner up and they use a lot of other people's money, and some business owners, they get their own money and they figure out kind of by themselves and they grow the company, and then they get partnerships that invest in them later. But what's the difference, or what do you believe in? Should you partner up with a bunch of people and have a little piece, or what's the difference between that? Because there's a lot of companies out there.
Combination. It's hard to say. It depends, a case by case basis. Because look, I'll give you an example. So you could have an idea.
Yeah.
You could have the most brilliant idea, but you have access to zero capital, zero resources. Let's say you're just a gifted engineer and you just created this massive, crazy system, but you really don't have access to the capital or anything.
Yeah.
And you have no choice but to go to a venture capital or a hedge fund or a private lender of some sort. And you're basically gonna own a very small piece of the company. And chances are you'll probably give up 60, 70, 80% of the company for a very small amount of money, up to $500,000. So what I believe in is this. There's a thing called Series A, Series B, Series C funding, right? Funding rounds. If you have the ability to self-fund Series A and B by yourself, do it. Because by the time you're going to go to C, you're going to get hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're literally going to give up next to nothing. Because the thing is, you're going to be able to take your idea, turn it real, go through the ups and downs, lose the money in the process, because there are going to be losses. Every idea comes with losses. Every investor knows that, even though they scream and yell and go crazy at times that I put in money with you, I lost money. No, they're all aware of the risks.
And scary moments? Scary moments too?
Scary moments are there all the time. Listen, when you're investing in Series A, there's only 2 out of 10 that ever go through. Series A is like, if you have one even that goes through it, and if you're an investor that invests in Series A, you're laughing all the way, because that one is going to make up for all the other 9 that you've lost money in.
Yeah.
So that's how it works, because you're gambling, in essence. That's all you're doing. You're gambling. Same thing like with stocks, right? If you get involved in the beginning before a company goes public, or you do it on a PPM level when they're just raising money, it's the same concept. So again, my point would be, if you can self-finance the first round, even yourself, go through the ups and downs, build your brand, build your audience, understand your audience, go through all the fine-tuning, get in the proper market segment, etc., come out with a product, do A/B testing, 6 months of campaign testing, execute, build the sales, build the growth from 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 500 orders that you're sending out. At that point, you will have access to unlimited money, because anybody that sees that you started from nothing and built it, and your business is not only branded, which has the intangible value, but also has the products with the profitability coming in, and you're green, your books are green in the end, you want to grow it, shit, you can get $100 million. Very easy, because at that point, it's all about your infrastructure. Because now what you need money to expand, you need money to have more product, you need money for distribution, or you need a strong distribution partner, right? Because really, if you need money for inventory, you already have a brand built, you're already selling this much, so if you're investing this much more, your sales are going to go that much higher. Simple as that. That's the stage I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I'm already doing sales. I'm already generating profit. Like, what people don't know and understand is with my brand Limitless, I have so many other sub brands below it that are products and services that each and every single one is generating profit. So my next step now is just to take certain products and go start with national and then global distribution. And the more we do in ad spends, the more we're going to be able to generate. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Brand building is done.
Yeah. And do you feel like
the problem is, sorry to interrupt you, the problem is people don't want to invest in someone else's dream because they know money is going to get burnt, and you'll make mistakes. If you're putting, hypothetically speaking, if you're putting paying I don't know, certain, like, everybody knows billboards are branded.
Yeah.
Right. Billboards not going to give you a direct conversion. It's not going to happen. But people will see it and they'll take your brand serious. But it's not going to give you a direct conversion. So investors don't like to invest in that. They like to invest more in grassroots. They'll be like, okay, You want to start this? You want to sell glasses? No problem. We'll fund your glasses. We'll fund your direct grassroots marketing campaign. Show us the use of proceeds. Go from there. But now you want to take your glass. You don't want to buy it for 20 cents and sell it for 35 cents. You want to buy it for 14 cents and sell it for $2.99. That's called markup, not margin. So when you want to create a markup business, you need a brand. When you want to do marginal, you don't really need a brand. You could buy these glasses, import them, and just sell them for 15 cents above and make your profit.
So brand is a huge thing.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And a brand is not a logo that you get made on Fiverr.com. You don't go to Fiverr.com, pay $5 and get a logo and call that a brand.
Yeah.
You know, a brand, I've only met in my life till now handful of people that understand what a brand deck is, have brand guidelines. Like our brand guidelines book is over 200 pages. 200 pages just of one brand with the do's and don'ts and how it needs to be positioned and so on and so forth, you know?
Wow.
It's deep. It's very deep.
So just really quick, one last thing, like brands, because brands are for everything, right? Like Limitless, like athletes, actors, actresses.
Yep.
Like they need to, the more their brand, like for example, Kylie Jenner, like the more, like when you build your brand, like if like let's say you have a great product, but nobody knows about your product, it doesn't have a brand, it's gonna go nowhere, right? So like how important and how fast and what's the most effective way to build your brand, like regardless of who you are and what you do?
You need a team. You need people that understand brand building, and you need people that are gonna criticize you, and you need people that are gonna. There's no fast way to build a brand. Brands are not built fast. Anybody telling you this is how you build a brand quickly, no, that doesn't happen. You can build brand awareness quickly. That I'll tell you is very easy. Put a commercial of the Super Bowl. You'll have brand awareness. But does that mean your brand is built? No. It'll have somewhat of a perceived value for the first 60 days at the very most. But it doesn't mean that you're branded.
Yeah.
Branding takes time. It's about consistency. It's about aligning and positioning yourselves with the right, with the right people, with the right companies, so on and so forth. Like, just you see my Instagram, how it is, right? One of my attorneys is literally yesterday gave me so much shit. Like, you have no idea. She's like, the way, what you're posting, what you're doing, some of the people you're hanging out with, you're posting your stuff. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, literally cursing at me on it. You know, because now her thing is public image. It's like, hey, this is how, like, so her thing to me is like, hey, my job is to help you build your public image. So now, as good as I am in branding and brand building, I'm not looking at myself on Instagram as I'm trying to build a brand. I'm just like, oh shit, I'm being myself. She's like, Jazz, you got to separate yourself from this and this altogether. You know, it's important that when you're building something for the public and out there, you have to really position yourself in that way. So there's no fast road to branding. You just have to, it takes time. You have to know your vision. You have to know who to align with. If you're building a brick and mortar, I'll tell you, very easy. Look up Starbucks. Wherever you see a Starbucks, position yourself somewhere near a Starbucks.
Yeah.
The amount of money they spend to do market study, to be and to get certain locations is crazy. So if you can have your store near Starbucks, you're in a good area, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. If you're building a brand that you're gonna of a product you're gonna sell online, you have to do competitive research. You know, market study, understand your audience, understand what you're missing. And for me, look, 90% of what I do is in products wise that I'm working on and whatnot is targeted towards a female audience.
Female audience.
Yeah, simple. I target towards a female audience.
Is it do you have the age groups and all that stuff?
Yeah, I have it all figured out. Yeah. It took me time because initially I wanted to start it off with other things a certain way, and then it diverted based on my engagement and based off of my own metrics and stat and based off the world. Shit. Yeah. Men buy for women, women buy for themselves. How the hell are you gonna go wrong?
Yeah. Women are probably the ones that control more the spending, right?
100%.
Yeah.
The 3 W's. You know what they are?
What are they?
What women want. Once you figure that out, that's the key to life.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna have to pick your brain more after this podcast. But just one quick thing, because you're giving so much, dropping so many bombs right here.
Man, like I keep going for hours.
Like how it's really important to, like, for your brand. I feel it's really important to be you, right? Because some people try to be like, oh, I'm gonna try to be like Jazz because Jazz is successful, so let me copy him this. But
I didn't copy anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just myself.
So like when you're yourself so much, because sometimes you'll do some stories and you'll go on a rant, and you'll just
I know.
put story. And last time you did like a long rant, and I started texting people like, hey, check out his Instagram stories, like, because I don't know if I think I texted you that time, but you went on a rant. I was laying in my bed and just staring at the view, and I needed to hear that at that moment. And you were really inspired and dropping all that stuff. I don't know if you realize how much you touch people's lives when you're doing those things, but I know you're being yourself.
Yeah.
But you were talking about a team. Has your team ever told you like, hey, Jess, take that down from Instagram or things like that?
No. And even if they did, I mean, the only thing is not my stories and such. It was mainly the type of, sometimes, look, I'm friends with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't judge people based on who they are, what they do. I'm friends with a lot of people, and I'm cool. I'm you know what I mean? And like, sometimes I don't think about one person's influence towards another and so on and so forth. But what relates to my stories and the things I say, no, I mean, generally, I didn't think how much it would be inspire people till people keep calling me and texting me, hey man, this is so cool, like what you're saying, this has helped me in my life. You have no idea. Actually, I didn't do stories for 2 days. People thought I died. It was crazy. I got these DMs like, are you alive? Like,
Yeah.
Of course I'm alive.
Now, Jess, does somebody like you, do you get a lot of hate sometimes from people that I mean, because there's always going to be envious people and people like that.
I don't care about that.
You don't pay attention to them?
Nah, because someone doesn't have the if someone can't come to my face and say anything,
Yeah.
nobody, yeah. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, because you probably get tons of messages all the time.
Here and there, I generally don't look at the DMs unless it's like for this challenge thing I'm doing right now.
Oh, okay.
I usually never look at that. I've never had to look at DMs until Champ posted this thing and it just went crazy. But I don't really pay attention to that. I mean, the hate and this and that. I'm gonna tell you one thing. If people don't envy you,
Yeah.
in some way, you're doing something wrong. So I know, I could tell by the energy of some people around sometimes, even in certain areas when others are there, and I could tell that they have this thing, and I'm like, okay, it's your problem, not mine. I'm not jealous of anybody. I don't feel I have more than what somebody else has in some way. I'm living my life to the fullest, the way I want to live it. And I wish that same on everyone. And I'm just trying to inspire other people to live their life to the fullest of whatever they can achieve. But the one thing I will say to people is, don't overextend yourself trying to live someone else's life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times this happens. People go and spend all kinds of money, hundreds of dollars, which to a lot of people, like, $300-400 is like a quarter of a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
In a month or somewhat, and they can't really afford that $300-400, and they'll go and put themselves in debt, thinking that they can make a few $1,000,000 in like 60 or 90 days very quickly, without realizing that a book or a program or something like that is going to change your life. No, it won't. You yourself have to first identify your surroundings, because if you can buy all the packages, do all the things in the world, but if you're hanging around the same people all day and they're still in the same little torpedo that they're in, how are you going to go any higher? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing people don't say. They don't talk about the surroundings, because you know what I mean? Like if you're around the same people, you're doing the same thing, the same job, same everything, a course, a book is not going to help change your life. It might put you in a little better state of mind and make you believe you can achieve more than what you have and what you want, or it'll help you unlock a certain part of you that may give you more reassurance, because all you're doing is self-confidence.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself an inner boost. You're pushing yourself without realizing at a subconscious level that you're pushing yourself.
Yeah.
That's all you're really doing. But then what happens, you get that kick, and then somebody in your little circle breaks a toenail or trips and falls on a lamp and, calls you going crazy. I need $7 to buy a light bulb. And suddenly that little kick that you got now is gone back down because somebody else's energy came into your space and took that away.
Yeah.
But you allowed it. So once again, goes to compartmentalizing, goes to that D&D on the phone.
Yeah.
You have to know when to turn it off. You have to know who's placed where, and you have to know at a certain point that, hey, you're in control of your own life. You only have one life, and your job in this life is to master yourself and achieve anything you want.
Yeah. Powerful, Jess. So I could go another hour with this. You have so much value here, but thanks so much. People can follow you at Limitless on Instagram, right?
Limitless.
And anywhere else
That's
you want to, people can.
I'm just on
search you?
Instagram.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome,
Here and
brother.
there.
Well, thank you.
I'm around.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.